is the Conservative Colonel Podcast with Harrison Dawes, where one man stands against the rising tide of liberalism. This officer in the battle to preserve our nation is the Conservative Colonel.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
And here's Harrison Dawes.
Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Dawes, and it is very good to be back on the airwaves today. Work has just been absolutely crazy, off the wall the past couple weeks, and I just wasn't able to get into the recording studio. Graves kept having some scheduling conflicts too on his end, so he couldn't host. And so it's taken a while. I do apologize. Hopefully this will not happen again as the year goes on. Summer gets a bit more chaotic for me, for those who don't know. So I really do feel bad about this. So luckily, I don't think I should have any more problems. And we're going to get into a bit of news today, but I do want to announce, while I did reach out to a guest for our 50th episode, I haven't talked to him yet, but I think his workload is going to be a bit extreme, and I don't think he's going to be able to make it. I'm going to reach out to him and double check. But if the special guest for the 50th episode just honestly can't do it, I wanted to announce today that, and I'll have an answer by next episode, but if he can't do it, we're going to do an episode on the Department of Education and just completely tearing it apart, why we don't need it, why it's kind of a failure, what gave the federal government to even get their foothold in education, stuff like that. And me and Graves are going to come on here and kind of do that together for the 50th. And then on the 51st episode, for big episode milestones now, it's kind of going to be two parts. So we're going to be celebrating the 50th episode in two episodes, not only the 50th, but usually going to be the next one after that. With this one being, I always like doing episodes just on what is conservatism, what is Jeffersonian, a Jeffersonian conservative, because that's what I am. And I know a lot of people get confused on what is a conservative, what is not. And so we decided, me and Graves, we won't be focusing on Jeffersonian conservatism this time, but I'll probably do an episode on it shortly after. But with hopefully the news is starting to die down a bit, I did want to talk about and do kind of a movie review of the Ronald Reagan movie that came out. Ronald Reagan is a very good conservative, did a great job. And we're going to kind of look at that movie and tell you what we think, what it means to us, kind of what we found is inspirational, what you can take apart from Ronald Reagan's victories as well as his losses. Ronald Reagan wasn't perfect. He wasn't a perfect conservative. And it's kind of hard to be. Even the guy who kind of came up with the conservative thought, Thomas Jefferson, did stuff that he later said that I don't think was right. So that's definitely not a knock on Reagan, as we all have our faults. And we're actually going to be talking about another conservative leader's faults at the end of this episode. But I can't wait to get into that one. So it will be the 50th episode will be just on the Department of Education. The 51st will just be on this Ronald Reagan stuff. And then a bit down the road before we get to the 75th episode, which would be at the end of this year, I'll probably do at least two more episodes on Jeffersonian conservatism this year. We sort of did one for the 25th where I brought Ryan S. Walters on. Great episode, by the way. Go check that out. I wouldn't be surprised if me and Ryan ever get canceled for that episode. And I might bring him on for an episode to celebrate. So, yeah, that's kind of the update, if you will. Kind of wanted to explain to where I've been and what kind of things I have lined up for the future. Because I do know we have a couple of new, or a good bit of new listeners. So I did want to spend the time talking about that. So yes, the 50th episode will be taking apart the Department of Education, and hopefully the episode will be a bit outdated with the destruction of the Department of Education. Because let's see here, I think I do know that's not it. That there's a bill that is going to destroy it. Yeah, so yeah, a bill has been introduced to eliminate the Department of Education, and it has been a talking point since 2024. And I know this has been a long-term talking point, but that is something we can go ahead and I guess jump into real quick. Though, please leave a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice and listen to us on your platform of choice. We are on Spreaker, which is our main platform, but we're also on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. But we also release the video format of the show every Wednesday on YouTube. So I didn't really have this lined up to talk about, but it has kind of just fallen back into my lap with what we're talking about here with this bill to eliminate the I hate ads on news sites. I hope y'all didn't hear that. Yeah, but there is a bill put up by David Roser to the House Education and Workforce. And it has not, it's still been introduced. So I would ask that everybody go and tell everybody they want the Department of Education to go away. Make sure you contact your House of Representatives and let's get the Department of Education destroyed. And we might do that episode on the Department of Education on the 49th episode and for the 50th through the Ronald Reagan thing, because it is getting close to needing to get rid of it. And so let's see here. I don't think so. It was introduced into the House back in January, and I don't know if it has been brought up anymore. It is sponsored by North Carolina, Alabama, Maryland, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina. I hope it doesn't die there, but we'll kind of keep a close eye on that. Graves is more of our national news guy. I'm going to text him after I get done with this episode, and we're going to kind of get a game plan on what we need to do to help get rid of the Department of Education and what we can tell our listeners. But yeah, so that's kind of one of the big things we were doing for the 50th. But yeah, HR 369 states education Reclamation Act of 2025. So we definitely need to make sure that gets passed and bring this back down to the states with a actual Constitution says that power would be in. If you don't know, if it's not listed in the Constitution as a power of the federal government, it is not the power of the federal government. It is the power of the state government. And I think it should honestly be knocked down even further to counties and what the people of that area would like their education system to look like, with maybe a bit of here's how we would like it structured from the state, but you give them an inch, they take a mile. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, but yeah, I would love to see the destruction of the Department of Education. I've seen firsthand how bad our education system is in this country. Being someone who went to public school, went to private school, went to college, went to multiple colleges, and kind of saw how bad they're just teaching history and just how they've weaponized our education system to be against conservatives and to be against free thought and about pushing this hate on white people. It's crazy. And I mean, I've witnessed it all. And so I would be very happy with the end of the Department of Education. And we will bring some more news forth on that as soon as we have it. As a matter of fact, I'll text Graves right now and just say, hey, you got anything on the Department of Education and its downfall? He'll get a kick out of that to start his day. But we are going to take, because we're having to take more commercial breaks, we're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back into the kind of news I had planned. So sorry that this has been a chaotic opening, but we'll get more back into our regular format after this break. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel podcast. And we're going to dive into some Mississippi news first. And then we kind of have national news to kind of wrap up the end of the show. So the first bit of news is, of course, the failure of Delbert Hosemann. A familiar topic to our listeners. But if you don't know, Delbert Hosemann might be the definition of a rhino. He is legit a Republican in name only. He only has that R by his name. He never really does anything. Everybody was trying to give him credit with the income tax bill being killed. Here's a fun fact: that the tax on our income doesn't go away for 12 to 13 years, I think, but we get an immediate tax on gas to cover it. Doesn't that make sense? So our government's wanting more money while they say they're going to cancel something. By the time I am almost 40, that would be when this bill would go, when the income tax would be eliminated, when I'm almost 40. Fun fact, I am in my late 20s now. I would be almost 40 when this bill, or when the income tax would be crushed. I'm in my late 20s. I would be in my late 30s when this would go into effect. So it's stupid. 100% stupid. A stupid win. You got Fox saying, "No, look, a conservative win in Mississippi." No, it's not. It is a massive L. It is egg on all Mississippi's face. And it just proves to me that Delbert is a Democrat. And yet, if people are finally starting to open their eyes, it's not like we tried to tell them during the last election, but now they're listening because they finally see Delbert who he is. But I don't have that much trust in the voters anymore. I think that we're going to elect him to governor, because what could make things worse? And I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, if we did that. Simply, again, because I don't think that we would do anything else but let each other down over and over again, because everybody just wants to make sure that the R's win. Yay, the Republicans win. But what if they're not Republican? What if they're Democrats? What if they're liberals? What if they don't actually believe in the platform that is conservatism? What's the point? If we elect them and they don't follow that platform, but they're better than a Democrat, no, they're not. We see that with this income bill. The income tax is going to get thrown away. All the conservatives said amen. But wait, it doesn't go away for another 12 to 13 years. But we get an immediate tax increase on gas to cover it? Huh. Now that seems more like a loss, doesn't it? We have doubled our taxes for the next 13 years. And I guarantee you, when that 13-year hits, we're going to increase a tax on something to cover it. Even though the whole point of increasing taxes on gas was to cover the loss of the income tax. So now, since we've doubled it, we have two taxes that were thrown upon us now. They're going to use that for 10, 13 years, and then, oh no, we're about to lose that amount of money. It's going to go down. Well, we can't have that. So I guarantee you, in a couple years, the gas tax is going to be increased, the land tax, something's going to be increased, because the government have been getting used to that money, and the government doesn't like to let go of money. And so we're honestly, it's going to end up costing us more to repeal the income tax, which is a stupid tax to begin with, than it would have been just to keep the deadgum income tax, because I just don't have faith in my government, and you shouldn't either, that they're not going to raise it. I mean, let's be honest here. They're going to. And then you have, like, even the Magnolia Tribune, which is not the most conservative piece, but it's decent. I've seen some good stories. Says that no independent observer could reasonably conclude that Delbert Hosemann, our lieutenant governor, doesn't shoulder much of the responsibility for the death of the school choice bills in Mississippi this year. So again, with the failure of Delbert Hosemann, this whole session could be defined as the failure of Delbert Hosemann. You know what? That's going to be the title of the episode: the failure of Delbert Hosemann. Because he's a failure. He's not a conservative. But we elected him for 4 more years. Chris McDaniel tried to tell us we all should have listened. I tried to tell everybody when I was with the campaign, Chris is going to be the perfect guy. Y'all need to get rid of Delbert. And I got told over and over again, oh, well, Delbert's a good guy. He's a conservative. He has all these nice ads. I get mail in stuff from him. He shakes my hand. Yeah, because he's got money. He gets all this money from the Republican Party to support his candidacy because, he's one of us. No, he's not. He is a liberal. 100%. He was the vice president of an abortion clinic. He is a liberal. And you can't change my mind on this. He killed the school choice bill. He killed us on the income tax. And to make matters even more funny, our next topic with the budget. It fires me up. Because we don't want a Democrat in there. Honestly, a Democrat would have done better than Delbert. At least I know what I'm getting. At least I'm not being lied to on a daily basis that I'm told that we're a conservative state when we're not a conservative state. We are a purple state. And the sooner you wake up and realize we are a purple state, that's the moment we can actually become a red state, people. The Republican Party thinks that they control this state and they can put up whoever they want and we'll vote for them because they have an R by their name. We have to change that. They work for us. Not only politicians, but the party designed to represent conservative thought works for us. And I'm about tired of having the party that's supposedly my party, the party of conservative thought, keep putting forth stupid rhino after rhino after rhino, and everybody smiles and eat a crap sandwich, and they go up to Jackson, they go up to DC, and they don't do their job. I'm tired of it. And then, now to get into the next story of Delbert, it failed to pass a budget. He was too busy killing conservative bills, trying to pass liberal bills, trying to pass what the Democrats want to actually pass a budget. Not only did he fail with redistricting, which, by the way, the state of Mississippi got sued for because we have to redo it. We have to have a special election now because you didn't redistrict right. Well, now we have to call a special session. Governor Tate Reeves has to call a special session. I think it says he's going to do it around June because July 1st is the beginning of our financial year here in Mississippi. And we don't have a budget, all because of Hosemann focusing on stuff that's not his job. 100% neglecting his responsibilities, not as a conservative leader, but also the lieutenant governor of the state of Mississippi. The lieutenant governor of the state of Mississippi is the most powerful position we have in Mississippi. He is the leader of Mississippi. If you want to know why we're purple, you want to know why we're losing more of our tax dollars because we didn't redistrict right. If you're wanting to wonder why we're having to call a special session in, it is because of Delbert Hosemann failing to do his job correctly. And I'm sick and tired of it. Aren't you? I made this podcast to reach people, to reach the conservatives, to help the youth of conservatism figure out what is so great about conservatism. And I'm tired of seeing it day after day after day that the conservative movement is hurt by our own party. I'm sick and tired. And this is all we get. Is this over and over and over and over again. And if you don't think that's like bad enough, like even the Mississippi Free Press, which again, our tax dollars go to that. That's a free press. I'm pretty sure that is a government funded thing. Put up this tagline a couple weeks ago: Trump backed bill that could make it harder for married women to vote passes U.S. House. That's a lie. Even if you don't think we're a purple state, look at our news. It is a crazy liberal, and they support some of our Republicans. That should tell you all you need to know about them Republicans. But it requires proof. This bill that makes it harder for women to vote, married women to vote, this is what it does. Legislation requiring proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote for federal elections. That's it. That's all the vote is. That's all this bill is. But no, it's making it harder for women to vote. And yet, again, after again, people think we're a red state. Look around. We're losing Mississippi. And don't think this is just a Mississippi issue. I challenge every state, with a couple of exceptions, that can look around and say, oh my gosh, we're not as conservative as I thought we were. If it can happen in Mississippi, it can happen to every one of your states. Texas, Florida, it could come for y'all too. It happened in Virginia. It happens in Georgia. It is time to look at our party and tell them, no, we won't change. Y'all will change. Because the conservative movement should not be tied to this party because it is a crap party. It is an awful party. It is a party that defends the swamp, defends making money off the taxpayer dollar. It defends corruption. And here we are again. And Mississippi's just, okay, I'm tired of it. I'm sorry. I got into a rant and I kind of blew through a lot of stories, but wake up. This goes for everybody. This goes for me too. I was complacent in this for a long time. I'm asking you not just to take part in fighting, but to actually take part in your government. Local, state, county. Those are the ones that matter because we can't get the federal government under control until we get those under control. And Trump, working his tail off for us, can't get anything done because every level is so corrupted. The whole system has gone crap because we haven't kept our eye on the ball. We have the best form of government in this world, true opinion of mine, but we have let it be tainted and tainted and tainted till it's something our founding fathers couldn't recognize anymore because we didn't keep our eye on the ball. We didn't watch who we were elected. We voted by party. I'm here today to ask you vote by the person, the man or woman running. And maybe, just maybe, we can actually get a conservative movement going in this country. Trump is the start of it. But he can't do it alone. And speaking of Trump, we are going to now get into national politics with some Tesla terrorist attacks after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel podcast. I've had to try to take a chill pill after that. This all started because I saw the news line from the Mississippi Free Press saying that Delbert Hosemann failed us. After Mississippi lawmakers fail to pass a budget, Mississippi governor will call a special legislative session. And I'm hoping for my sanity that they do this because I have been covering pretty closely the Mississippi legislative session. And I know we have a lot of viewers or listeners, rather, that aren't in Mississippi. And I thank y'all for sticking it out because I do know that this is a podcast focused on Mississippi and national politics. And with all the stuff going on in Mississippi, I've kind of neglected the national side. I just want to say hang in there a bit longer because we'll be probably focusing on just federal news for a good bit after this. That has just always been my viewpoint on the show, that it discusses both the state and federal. But I also ask that, again, look at your states as well. On our website, conservativecolonel.com, you can go to the homepage and you scroll down and you see George Washington. It says email to the host. You can email me and we react to that live on, or not live, but on an episode. And we'll probably do a whole episode on that very soon. I actually have an idea on that coming up shortly. And we'll have a whole episode talking to the liberals, talking to the Democrats, talking to Republicans, talking to actual conservatives. And we'll see where we stand after that. But it kind of fired me up. But also firing me up is the Tesla attacks. So if you don't know, Tesla has basically been on fire. Liberals are attacking Tesla cars. Domestic terrorism at its finest. This is just like 2020 all over again. The party of reasoning, the party of mostly peaceful protesters, the party of, inclusivity, the party of, well, we're not crazy. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are the devil. Y'all are the destruction to this country. Committing domestic terrorism acts is just ironic all over again. And the funny thing is they're the ones that push the Tesla cars. They were like, oh, we have to go green. Get your electric cars. Get a Tesla. Get a Tesla. And then they're going to blow up Tesla cars. They're going to scrap them with keys. They're going to catch them on fire. They're going to try to attack Elon Musk for just cleaning. And this is the funny thing. For cutting government waste is why this terror. For saving the government and the American people money, liberals have decided it's time for domestic terrorism. But yet, we're the rebels. Yet, we're the conservative crazy people. Meanwhile, they're just bombing cars, making it look like a third world country. And they're proud of it. They posted on their social medias, look what I did today. So happy. So happy. Just like when they started running over Trump signs and getting mad that someone put nails on the end of their sign. Look what these people did. No accountability for their actions. I hope the book gets thrown at these idiots, these terrorists. And I'm calling them terrorists because that's what y'all are doing. Domestic terrorism. And y'all think it's all right. But yet we're the unconstitutional party. We're the party that, is just the evil, evil people. I hear all the time how Mississippi's just this evil, evil state that should burn in hell, and how we should just remove the state from the union, and how it should rename itself to try to get away from its past. And this is what y'all are doing. Oh, y'all are disgusting creatures. I'm not holding back this episode because this is all built up. I'm pissed, and I'm extremely pissed. Here y'all are, again, terrorist attacks, full-on terrorist attacks, and y'all are just proud of it. Thrilled. Look at me. And again, I hope the book gets thrown at you idiots. And I could go back and look at more of these protesters gather outside Tesla showrooms and dealerships to denounce Elon Musk and Dodge. From Seattle to Miami, anti-Musk protesters gather at hundreds of Tesla dealerships. And these quote-unquote protests always end in violence, mostly. You do have some people actually using their right to protest. I don't want to attack them people because they have a constitutional right to protest it. Even if it's a stupid protest, they have the right to do it. And I applaud them for actually getting together and protesting. What I don't like is, again, the domestic terrorism. And again, looking at us like we're just the devil. This goes hand in hand with the 2020 riots. I didn't like January 6th either, people. This is not a conservative or liberal issue. This is sane people versus crazy people. This is people who think that they can solve the bad man who's destroying our country with destroying our country. That's their remedy. We're going to stop the bad orange man and the bad rich guy from destroying our country by destroying our country. It makes very little sense. And it's honestly, if this doesn't wake your eyes up of how stupid liberals are, I don't know what will. Just okay, fine. At least my side isn't, committing acts of domestic terrorism with mostly peaceful protests. And I'm sure that saying is coming back now. Aside from the peaceful protests, there have been at least 80 reported incidents of vandalism of arson of Tesla vehicles. Aside from the peaceful, this is for NBC News. This is great. There have been 80 accounts of this. And again, they're all happy about it. I'm sure they're getting praised by NBC. I don't even have to read that bill. Or read that news sections. Hundreds of, demonstrations is what they're calling it, take place in the United States, Canada, Europe. This is from CNN. And look at this one from the Los Angeles Times. This is just the headline. Tesla attacks mark troubling twists in political violence as Musk divides America. The Los Angeles Times. And they have a picture of a burnt Tesla as the main picture of this article. It is they blame Musk for the violence that these people are causing. That's like me going out robbing a gas station and blaming the gas station for being there. for maybe running a sale, for maybe giving some people their money back, for maybe, paying my taxes for me. Like, it's that stupid. And oh, I love the Los Angeles Times. This came out in March, actually, late in March. I'm just going through news articles now of this. There were broad exceptions that were the widening political divides in America following Trump's second presidential victory would explode. Teslas have been set ablaze with Molotov cocktails, riddled with bullets, and defaced with swastikas. Doors and windows at once primary luxury electric vehicle showrooms are now scratched with profanity and Nazi symbols. And let's see where they blame Musk here. Let's just scroll down. Passionate protesters. Passionate. Oh, wait. We rightfully tolerate such passionate protesters. They're quoting Brian Levin, a professor at Cal State Santa Barbara, as experts on, and is an expert on extremism. I am just in shock. This is they're still trying to find a way to blame this man. Like, I could read this whole thing of garbage. And yeah, they're trying to blame Trump. Oh, Trump's saying he's going to crack down on this. It's stupid. There's another one. Trump downplays January 6th by suggesting Tesla attacks are more serious. That's because they are. I don't know what to tell you, idiots. I mean, y'all downplay the 2020 riots, but when the January 6th riot happened, oh, the government's getting overthrown. No, it wasn't. It just pissed off people that were stupid. That's all that was. I mean, there were a couple of incidents and injuries. I don't think anybody was killed January 6th. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since that story has happened. But they downplayed 2020 riots, which was 100% more worse than January 6th. And these terrorist attacks are getting worse. Someone is going to get hurt, and then it will officially be worse than January 6th. January 6th, they keep overblowing it. Nancy Pelosi's got PTSD or some crap from it. AOC almost pissed herself or something like that crap. Like, it just liberals being liberals. We can do domestic terrorism, but y'all can't. And again, I am condemning all of it. I'm not supporters of what happened on January 6th. Do I believe that we have the right as people to dethrone our government? Yes. And I'm pretty sure it's in the Constitution. I'll even type it up. Like, Constitution. Let's see here. I don't want to quote a movie because that's where I'm remembering this from. Oh, it'll help me if I spell dethrone right. Let's take a quick commercial break because I do want to find this and we need to take another break anyway. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. I do want to say I did make a mistake. I was thinking of the Declaration of Independence, which it states that we do kind of have the right to abolish a government that's become tyrannical and has destroyed the rights and implies the right to revolution and resistance. but it's not in the Constitution itself. So I did want to correct that because I don't want to be misleading. But we do have that right in this guy. I mean, heck, this country was founded on that. But I don't think we're there yet. And by no means am I advocating for the complete destruction of our government, and not doing so forcefully either. But I will state that we do have that. I believe it's right. Again, we were founded on that. But again, they weren't trying to do that. Heck, even the 2020 rioters weren't really trying to do that. They threatened to if Trump won, which the Tesla attacks have kind of been it so far. And I think it's going to get worse. I mean, it's liberals. What can I expect other than for it to get worse? I'm expecting someone to be killed soon, which is a sad thing to have to say on air, but I'm just being honest. This episode, I have been brutally upfront about my feelings. No more than what I will be getting into in our last segment. But, yeah, they're trying to compare, or they're trying to not compare the Tesla riots to the January 6th riot. Tesla arsons probed as domestic terrorism, cheered by group linked to the 2020 riots. This is from the New York Post, even. They're trying to say that it was a group of anti-capitalists that took credit for terrorizing Philadelphia neighborhood near the University of Pennsylvania during what has been called the Summer of Rage in 2020. I just call them the 2020 riots. Are now supporting the targeting of Tesla. By the way, anti-capitalist group, yeah, they could take credit for it if they want to, but we all know which organization can take credit for the 2020 riots, and that's BLM, who their people have just bought mansions. Their leaders are living it up, man. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a BLM leader because holy crap, those guys make bank. Them guys and girls have just swung for the fences, gotten mansions and crap. Meanwhile, they haven't done anything for the black people of America. And I'm talking about that in just a nice, non-even addictive way. As a people, if you feel like your rights have been trampled on, you have every right to protest it and make an organization to fight for your rights. If black people in America feel like they need something more, I don't agree with it. I think we're all equal. Is there things we could be doing better? Sure. But making sure forcing yourself to get options is not rights. We don't have the right to be successful. We have the right to be all treated equally under the law. Because newsflash, people are born with more rights than others. I wasn't born rich. I really wish I was, because my farm would be top of the line right now. I was born a farmer. I just paid my taxes this year for the first time, and whoa, am I getting screwed? I did not make much money. The government said, hey, let me come in and take that. And I know rich people that don't pay an enormous amount of money compared to my income with how much they ask for and their income. Yeah, they probably pay more taxes than I do. But, portion wise, it doesn't actually put a dent in their money. I don't have that luxury. I didn't have the luxury to be born extremely intelligent. I'm a history man. I understand history. I am very good at remembering American history, but I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scientist. Other than history, I did not do well in school. I was not born an athlete. I love basketball and love playing it. And my father and my grandfather were phenomenal athletes. I wasn't. I didn't get a scholarship. But should I get a scholarship because I played basketball simply for, rights? No. Just because to say in the span of equality that I get scholarships, even though I'm not an athlete, doesn't make sense. You shouldn't get scholarships based on race. Let the best person win. Now, when they were first started, I think it was an exceptional reason to do it. When everything was first started, when black people were just getting into colleges, for instance, since we're on that example, yeah, they did have an uphill battle. I'm not downplaying the civil rights movement. I'm not downplaying black people's struggles back then. I'm not. It was hard to be an African American in that time frame. And yet, it is 10 times better than what it was. But in equality, we should have more stuff. I remember a black person saying that we should have separate dorms for black people only. And I sat there and I was like, you mean segregation? You really want that back? I know I don't. But here we are. The summer of rage. Oh my gosh. Trump on Truth Social said, and I 100% agree with this, I look forward to watching these sick terrorist thugs get 20-year jail sentences for what they're doing to Elon Musk and Tesla. Again, for catching government waste, for saying, okay, well, that's not going somewhere where it needs to be. Let's bring that back to the American people. Nope. Not going to do that. We can't stand for that. It's so stupid. I'm just so lost on what to say because, excuse me, it's stupidity at its finest. I feel like I'm sitting back and needing a bag of popcorn to watch it. We're going to take one more commercial break, and we're going to kind of wrap up the show with one more story. And it's a doozy. I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this one, so stay tuned. So when I started the show, I made the promise of staying true to who I was as a conservative, a Jeffersonian, and attacking Republicans and true conservatives when I feel like they weren't living up to that responsibility. And I expect others to do the same with me. I'm happy to be in a debate. I'm happy to sit back and think, is this really conservative thought? Is this really what would be best for the conservative movement? I'm 100% okay with being called out. And I've said it before on the show, and I'll say it again. I'm a massive Trump supporter, and I wouldn't take away my 2 times I voted for him in 2020 and 2024. I couldn't vote for him in 2016, but I would have if I could. So I could have, if I wanted to, I could say this man had my vote 3 times, because I did have a mock-up election in 2016 at my high school where I did vote for Trump. And I voted for Trump in 2020 and voted for Trump in 2024 in an actual election. I have been a Trump supporter since day one, but I am going to call out mistakes and bullcrap when I see it, even if it is from Donald Trump. Because a lot of people, Jack from the Right Side Radio has talked about tribalism when it comes to political parties, where it's 100% R's are good and D's are bad, and D's are good and R's are bad. And there's no room for this Democrat's actually doing a better job than a conservative. This conservative's doing a great job. We need to support him. And this conservative's just a rhino, part of the swamp. And I believe now we've kind of gotten into this area where Trump is just untouchable because he's such a great conservative. That doesn't mean he can't make mistakes. I talked about it at the beginning of this episode. One of my heroes, Thomas Jefferson, made mistakes. One of my heroes, Ronald Reagan, made mistakes that I don't think was good for the conservative movement, and definitely not conservative. If you're telling me that you want a big government, it's not conservative. And if you do something that kind of supports a big government, it's not conservative. I hate to tell you. Conservatism at its base is a smaller government and cutting government waste and cutting taxes. And Trump, for the most part, is a great conservative. But I do want to talk about this. Trump endorsing Sidney Hyde Smith for re-election, because the rumor around the mill here in Mississippi is that Senator Sidney Hyde Smith, was about to be challenged. And the Mississippi Republican Party crapped on that real quick. They try to discourage it. They're trying to get county chairs to say that, Sidney Hyde Smith is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and we don't need a loser. And then the National Republican Party is like, Sidney Hyde Smith is the greatest thing since sliced bread. We don't need a loser. And I'm sitting here like, is she though? Is she? She's not the worst. I mean, Roger Wicker has that title for Mississippians anyway, and there's far worse Republicans in the Senate that are 100% rhinos. I think she's about lukewarm. She'll pass a couple great bills, fight for a couple great things, and then kind of just get into the corner like that meme of Homer Simpson getting in the bush. Like, I 100% think that's her. I just don't know what to say to it sometimes. And again, I am all for Trump doing what he's been doing, but I have noticed that he's making a lot of mistakes too, and I can't just sit quietly on him. And let's see here what Trump said in quote. Oh no. Oh no. Trump said Sidney Hyde Smith was a longtime ally and praised her for her work on issues such as border security and agriculture, which she was an awful commissioner of agriculture here in Mississippi. Senator Sidney Hyde Smith is 100% MAGA, which is 100% laughable. Doing a fantastic job representing the incredible people of Mississippi. No, she's not. An original member of my Mississippi leadership team, Sidney Hyde Smith has been with us from the very beginning. In the Senate, Sidney is fighting harder to screw the border, grow our economy, champion our amazing farmers and American agriculture, and support our brave military and veterans. Promote energy dominance and defend our always under siege Second Amendment rights. Sidney Hyde Smith has my complete and total endorsement to rerun. She will never let you down. Wow, that's a strong sentence there, Mr. President. Woo-hoo-hoo. She will never let you down. It should say about 50% of the time she'll never let you down. Because I will admit, she's not the worst one up there. She has done things that I've been like, oh, well, I support that. And almost been taken off guard. I met her at the Dixie National a couple of weeks ago. I'm a big fan of the Dixie National Rodeo and was surprised. I hadn't seen her come down to this since she was the Commissioner of Agriculture. And she kind of had to because the Commissioner of Agriculture is over the event. But I hadn't seen her since. And she does a good couple things. She's done a couple of good things for Mississippi. I'm not saying it's all been bad, Senator Smith, but certainly all hasn't been good. And the bad has kind of outweighed the good. It's not one of those things with Trump where I can say Trump has done a lot more positive than he has done negative for this country. I think Sidney Hyde Smith has done, for the country, she's been overall crap. For the overall country. For the state of Mississippi, I think she's a bit more positive. But it's not by much. Like, and people are like, oh, are you Sidney Hyde? No, I'm not voting for her in this upcoming re-election. I don't care what Trump himself could come talk to me. And I would say, I'm sorry, Mr. President. I respect you. You're doing a good job, but I can't support Sidney Hyde Smith. And this is kind of the same thing. Trump is endorsing swamp people, but has attacked actual conservatives in the House, all because they criticized him. Again, Trump has made mistakes, even in this term he has done. There are things that he has said that I just don't agree with. If I'm being honest, I downright disagree with. Now, again, does that make Trump a bad president? No. But it is definitely the biggest head scratcher of my life where the man who one of his campaign promises was to drain the swamp has done nothing but endorse the swamp, has done nothing but attack actual conservatives. We only have like a few up there, and Trump is like wanting them to lose their election because conservatism is all about challenging authority. Yes, we're very traditional people, But when it comes to government authority, we don't believe in that. So yeah, they're going to challenge you. If you didn't want that, you shouldn't have became a conservative. And Trump has attacked them pretty hard, hoping that they lose their elections, and has gone on record to say as much. But meanwhile, he has, at least in Mississippi, endorsed both Roger Wicker and Sidney Hyde-Smith, both of which, again, I can't name off the top of my head last time they did something massive for Mississippi. Sidney Hyde-Smith did something for Vicksburg recently with all its great history, which is great for me as a historian. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, awesome. But it's kind of like a breadcrumb, if you will, or like in Sidney Hyde-Smith, Roger Wicker leaves us breadcrumbs. Sidney Hyde-Smith like breaks off like a little edge piece and gives it to you. You'd get a better piece of bread at a church communion, but it's a bit weird. I think we could do better, and that's why I hope someone challenges Sidney Hyde-Smith, because I'm sitting here like, is she really the best we have to offer? We only have 2 senators. You can't tell me out of this state full of millions of people, we can't find 2 people that are super conservative that can go up there and lead the charge for us. Okay. Even if they never brought another dime back to Mississippi, if they at least actually champion conservative values, they can at least hang their hat on that. But Sidney Hyde-Smith more plays the game. She doesn't play it to the extreme of Roger Wicker, mind you. Roger Wicker is just happy to be in charge and feel like a big man. Now, again, she's not all bad. It's just, really, she is part of the swamp. She is part of the establishment. Even if this is her second full term, she's still part of it. She just joined it instead of really fighting it. You know, she gets compromises every now and then. A little breadcrumbs thrown her way, which she throws back our way. But are they really victories? And again, 100% MAGA, and in all caps on this post, she will never let you down? Now, that's laughable. That is laughable. That is stupid. That is a lie, Mr. President. And I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Again, I don't regret voting for Trump. I would do it again in a heartbeat. To go back in time to vote for him again. But let's be honest. This wasn't very MAGA of you, Mr. President. This is the endorsement of the same old. That I think is going to bite him in the butt. And I know why he's doing it. I just don't agree with it. He's trying to get support to pass certain things. But here's the problem. They're still not going to pass it. Like, I'm asking everybody to put pressure on the House to pass this bill. House Bill 369. Because it's the destruction of the Department of Education, bringing it back to the states. Now, with that being said, if it passes, I will 100% be like, all right, well, I guess it worked. But that will be the biggest win of Trump's term, and I don't think he'll get any more. Term limits won't be passed. Trying to stamp out corruption will kind of probably slow to a fade because the Republicans have given us the big win of the decade. They don't feel like they have to do anything else. They can ride the coattails of this victory for probably another 2 term cycles. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I don't have that much faith in government. I have no faith in government. That's why I want a strong state government. Not strong in the sense that it has a very overbearing control of my life, but has a more influential part than the federal government. Because I can go to the state government and raise some cane. I can't go to Washington every day and tell them to stop being corrupt. Well, this has been the Conservative Colonel Podcast. Please share it out. Please leave us a 5-star review. Remember, we are on Apple Podcast. Our main platform is Spreaker. We release new episodes every Thursday. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. We also release the video format of our show every Wednesday on YouTube. You can get all this information, a couple cool other things, at the conservativekernel.com website. Check out our store. Hopefully, we'll be trying to make it continuously better as time goes on. Thank you for supporting the Conservative Kernel podcast. Continue to please share it out. I know we got a lot of new listeners. Leave those reviews. Really help us grow because we are going to fight for the conservative movement like never before. And I will be happy if y'all join us. God bless America, and God bless Mississippi.